we're starting. I don't know. So, oh, yep, we're live on Facebook. Hi, everybody. I'm Mary Witt, and I'm the coordinator for transfer and articulation here at Columbus State. And I'm also in charge of the University Transfer Center, which is now closed, but virtual from my basement. And I'm joined today by Taylor Slocum, who is a counselor in our Career Services office. And we're here to present you with virtual pathways to business at The Ohio State University. Thanks for coming. This is a part of our destination days for Ohio State. So we have a week long this week worth of programs regarding transfer to The Ohio State University. So we'll have one tonight, which is the transfer overview from 6 to 7 p.m. And you can join any of them. You don't even have to have applied to Ohio State. You don't even actually really have to be interested in Ohio State. You just want to see what Ohio State folks look like and what we're talking about. You can certainly join on, and we will have destination days for all of our preferred pathway partners through the end of April. So without further ado, let's go on. We have from the College of Food, Agriculture, and Environmental Science, we have Paul Heimberger. He is a senior academic advisor. I think I may have given you the senior title, but the college academic advisor who comes to visit our campus when our campus is open and also does it virtually. We also have Michael Waite, who's an assistant director, I believe. I'm sorry, I should have had everybody's titles written down on my post-it in front of me. He's with the College of Arts and Sciences up at Ohio State. We have Kia McKinney, who's the director of recruitment for the College of Education and Human Ecology, and Trish Jefferson, who's the assistant director or director of recruitment, and admissions for the Fisher College of Business. So we are going to get started, and how it's going to go is that each one of the colleges, each one of the representatives is going to have 10 minutes to talk about their college and the programs they have for our students. Now we are here at Columbus State, we have the Associate of Arts in Business, which is an Ohio Guaranteed Transfer Pathway, which is meant to be transferred to state universities and their colleges of business. So obviously it's going to fit very nicely into the Fisher College. But if you find yourself thinking about that you might not want to end up in the Fisher College for whatever reason, all of our Associate of Business degrees can also transfer to any of these other programs and colleges at The Ohio State University. So that's what they're going to be talking about, alternatives to the business major. So I'll go ahead and get started. First up is Kia with the College of Education and Human Ecology. Thanks.
Rookie mistake, I was looking for my mute button. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Hopefully all of you are enjoying the day. The sun is shining in Columbus. I'm excited to get outside at some point today, so hopefully you do as well. As Mary mentioned, I'm the Director of Recruitment, Retention, and Student Engagement in the College of Education, Human Ecology. I work with incoming transfer students just to discuss pathways. And so as we take a look at all of the programs that are available, at The Ohio State University that fall under the umbrella of business, I'm going to talk about 3 programs that specifically reside within the College of Education and Human Ecology. Okay, so let's get this started. The first program we're going to talk about is the Hospitality Management Program. And so students who pursue this program want to work in event planning. They want to work in restaurant management, tourism, in the service industries. Okay. And again, as Mary alluded to, any of the pathways that have been established at Columbus State, whether the applied programs in business or the associate transfer tracks, all of them transfer beautifully into our hospitality management program. There's a significant amount of elective credits available. So regardless of which pathway you're taking into business or into hospitality management, it ends up being a 2+2. So a lot of times, you'll hear that language thrown around a lot that, this will be a 2+2. So for the most part, it's a very transfer friendly option. Students in the program actually complete the program. There are internship requirements and whatnot. But for the most part, students graduate and they are ready to hit the ground running into the field of their choice. Okay. So hospitality management does have a lot of flexibility. It's not competitive. When you're admitted to the university, you're admitted directly into the major. So no additional steps required. Okay. So hospitality management is a big one, especially given Columbus's position as far as, being a test market for the Midwest. We are really a great place for the hospitality industry. Okay. Another program that is pretty popular is the Consumer and Family Financial Services program. So if you consider the possibility that you want to be a financial planner, this is going to be one of the very popular options for you. Again, you can pursue whichever business track you want, and it will feed nicely into a 2+2. It's not competitive. So after students complete this program, they do meet the requirements to sit down for the certified financial planner exam, with the focus being more so on the consumer and the customer and the industry versus big business. So this is a very popular option. Most of our students come to us from the applied program in business. It is a very popular option, especially for students who, want to make a difference in the realm of helping families with financial security and building wealth. Okay. No pre-major for this as well. So students come directly into the program, no additional application required. So Consumer and Family Financial Services is also a very popular option. All right. Fashion and retail studies. I know there are some fashionistas out there, fashionistas out there. This is a very popular program for students who want to get behind the business of fashion, right? So not necessarily design. We are not a design program. We say that over and over. But if you want to know about the business of fashion, there we are. Okay. And for all three of the programs I've mentioned so far, we are a team, we are in partnership. Everyone that's here to talk to you today, we're colleagues. We're not fighting for students. We're really here to help support you and find the best path for you. So students in all three of the programs I've mentioned do take classes across campus in arts and sciences, in business, so on and so forth. So, students who pursue the fashion industry are prepared to work both on the merchandising side of the business as well as the product development side of fashion. Again, it's very transfer friendly. So students come in with a significant amount of elective credits. So regardless of the pathway that you take into the fashion program, it ends up being a 2+2. So it's very transfer friendly, very flexible. And it really is preparing you to work within the world of apparel, fashion, textiles, beauty, and even in the virtual world, that was a tongue twister, if you're interested in that space. Okay, so fashion and retail studies does not require an additional application. Basically, if you're admitted to the university, you're directly admitted into the program if this is something that you want to pursue. Okay. Last but not least, as far as the programs that fall under the business umbrella, is the sport industry program. There are a lot of students who are looking for a sports management program. We have intentionally designed the program and labeled the program sport industry because there are a number of different spaces that our graduates find themselves in within the world of sports. Okay. A lot of students will use the sport industry program as a stepping stone because they want to be agents. They want to go to law school, right? They want to go and further their education in business and whatnot. But the tie that binds all the sport industry students together is this love and passion for sports. Okay. So you do take things, as far as the humanities, you do take things, classes like sports and pop culture. You do examine the world of sports and how we fit into it. Again, this is another program. You do come in as a pre-major, but it's not a competitive application process. So students who are interested in sport industry come in for at least a semester as a pre-major, but once a student attains a 2.75 GPA, we just move you into the major, okay? And we have that requirement to ensure that you are able to take advantage of the numerous internships and field experiences that are required of sport industry students. We do want to make sure that you get your hands dirty and that you're able to hit the ground running in that realm as well. It's a very competitive field, very exciting field, that a lot of folks want to be a part of. So sport industry is also very transfer friendly with almost 30 elective hours to allow you to create your own adventure within that world. So a lot of partnerships, a lot of students have minors from the colleges represented today and beyond. And so those are conversations that we're more than happy to have. Okay. Now, how on earth do you start this transfer journey with EHE? we are available to meet and talk with students who are interested the entire way through the process. So from the point that students decide they want a little more information and to the point they register for orientation, we're here for it and here to kind of help you navigate this path. Every Monday, we do virtual drop-in hours at 1 o'clock. So yes, today, feel free to drop by in a little bit and come and see us. I'll be there talking to students, who are interested in any of our programs. I tried to allude to some of the admissions journey, on the last slide, just so that you're aware. All of the programs that I mentioned are basically direct admit. So there's no additional step needed to be in the program itself. With the exception of sport industry, you would have to be in the pre-major, but just for a semester, right? The other thing is we do talk through some of your, transcripts. So if you can show us an unofficial transcript of what you've taken, we're happy to talk about that and how those credits actually apply to the program of interest that you have. And that's not, as a part of the official application process where you have to submit an official transcript. But for some students, as you're trying to navigate this, it does help to know, the classes that you've taken and how it will apply. Not will it transfer, it would always transfer, but how does it apply to the major, okay? Students always attend new student orientation, and that's the point that we help you schedule. So unlike scheduling at Columbus State, where it's kind of first come, first serve, all of our incoming students schedule via orientation, okay? So in preparation for that, an advisor will review your transcript officially. They will give you scheduling advice. If there are any additional steps needed as far as curriculum petitions or evaluation, you'll be notified of that and supported through that process as well in preparation for orientation and scheduling, okay? So I'm not gonna take up too much of your time because again, you can come see me at 1 o'clock, but I'm gonna pass the mic to my colleague Michael Wade in Arts and Sciences. But if you have any questions, I look forward to seeing you in just a little bit. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Well, as Kia mentioned, my name is Michael Wade with the College of Arts and Sciences. I'm going to start, I guess, with a very broad overview, just very briefly. Arts and Sciences is the largest college on campus by far. We have somewhere around 16,000 students. We have over 80 majors, like 120 minors. We like to call ourselves really the academic heart of Ohio State because I always like to tell students that you can get out of Ohio State without ever having taken a class in engineering or pharmacy or nursing or something like that, but nobody graduates from Ohio State without having taken a significant number of classes in arts and sciences. So we're the home of the vast majority of GE courses, your maths, your histories, your English classes, things like that. So everybody comes through our door one way or another. And if you decide not to major in one of our programs, we have loads and loads of minors that are also very attractive to students especially those who are interested in business. We have, we always promote the general business minor as one, but we have, economics and math and, statistics, all sorts of other minors that are very helpful for students who are thinking of something in the business world. So what I'm going to do today is just talk about a few of the programs that are popular and some of the requirements. And then at the end, there are a few others that I'll just very briefly mention. So one I always like to talk about is Actuarial Science. It is in the math department. You can see the requirements there for the program. This is a great program for students who like math, like statistics, they enjoy economics. It is mostly a program that deals with risk assessment in the insurance industry. That's the kind of the simplest way to do it. The curriculum really is designed to get students up and running by the time they graduate. As you can see, they prepare students to take up to 5 of the needed exams that an actuary has to have. Most students do, between like 2 and 4 of them. If you get all 5 of them, that's fantastic. But not all students do that. And so by the time you graduate, you can apply for jobs. You already have some of the things you need for licensure. You're well on your way. Normally, I wouldn't talk about student organizations, but in this case, the Actuarial Science student organization is very active and very popular, and they do a fantastic job of bringing industry professionals in to talk to students and create networking connections early on. The majority of actuarial science graduates have jobs lined up before they actually get their degrees. So they're well on their way, and the club has a lot to do with that. You know, they do, like I said, they do a fantastic job of connecting people with industry professionals, getting internships, you know, taking care of that age-old conundrum of how do I get a job without experience and how do I get experience without a job. You know, they do a good job of making sure their students are well prepared. And I should say, you know, backtracking a little bit, that the best way to find out more information is to contact our advising office. You can reach them at 614-292-6961. They're always available to answer questions from prospective students, whether they be transfers or new incoming students or what have you. You can schedule an appointment and, you know, address all of these, including the requirements and like how much you've already covered with your Columbus State courses. I'll address this. There's a question here. I'll address that quickly. Does this include the CPA license for accounting majors? The program does not get you licensure, but they help prepare you for licensure. So, you know, I will say I'm not too familiar with accounting in specific. I'll let Tricia, you know, cover the accounting part of it. But I will say that the actuarial science does not get you licensure. It just helps prepare you for some of the exams, and they encourage you to take some of the exams. Moving on to arts management, this is a little bit different than some of the other programs out there, because you obviously would need to know a lot about art or the arts in general. This is a great program for students planning to go into the business side of the arts. If you want to be a music producer, or you want to be a buyer for a museum, or you want to run a gallery, things like that. You know, you want to be the behind the scenes person for whatever arts or cultural organization that you're working for. So you do need to have some business courses. That's not required for you to get into the major, but you will have those courses done by the time you graduate. And then obviously there's a lot of art courses going along with it. You need to know the subject matter if you're going to be promoting it. And like I said, it's really kind of a burgeoning field. It's in the same department as our art education department, and in a very few short years, it has overtaken art education as the main major within the department. And yeah, students are looking to get into arts entrepreneurship, or they're looking to own their own art gallery. They're looking to go into, you know, they see what people like Dr. Dre are doing, and they want to get involved, you know, so they, you know, do a little bit of business, a little bit of arts, and kind of get the best of both worlds in that sense. Next is economics. A very research and theory oriented program. It's really fantastic for those who want to, you know, kind of want to know the underpinnings of how people deal with scarcity and limited resources, how the decision-making process that goes behind it. If you want to work at a think tank, want to work for the government, want to work in a corporation, you know, doing research and data analysis, economics is a great program. There are no additional requirements necessary. You don't have to have any particular GPA. You don't have to have any particular coursework to get involved. So it is a good option for students who want to do a lot of, you know, a lot of the theory that goes behind what goes on in the business world. And the last one I wanted to touch on was strategic communication. This is a lot of public relations and communication, like marketing and sales between not only customers and the corporation, but internally within corporations. I'll give you, the best way for me to describe some of this is, to give a couple of examples, I guess personal examples. One of my friends is a brand director for a major bank in the Columbus area, and she handles kind of everything. She doesn't direct the commercial shoots, but she's kind of the brains behind the commercial shoots. She oversees the radio spots. She even does things like graphic design for the credit cards, so the images that actually go on the card. She's the designer for that. She oversees the design on the websites, all of that stuff. That all falls under her purview as a brand manager, and her background is in strategic communication. Another example is my wife works for a tech company also in the Columbus area, 1,300 employees. She's the internal communication specialist. So she manages the internal newsletter. She does some external PR, press releases, things like that. She was very busy over the past year when COVID first hit. They had because they have 1,300 employees, but it's also a global company, so they had to come up with strategies on how to handle things in their Dublin office, as well as their office in Germany, as well as their office in London. So she was, fielding information from all of these different areas, checking in with the various health departments, making sure the employees had the information they needed, as well as relaying some of that information out to the press about how the company was handling these different things. And she doesn't do as much of the sales and marketing, but she also oversees what the sales and marketing teams are doing. So there's really a lot involved in strategic communication, and the name of the program is exactly what it is: strategy, strategic communication. So the two of them do go together very well. And as you see from the outcomes there on the screen, all areas of public communication, advertising, persuasion, corporate identity, image repair. There is a lot of crisis management when something goes wrong or something doesn't go according to plan. How is the company addressing this? So it's a very can be very stressful sometimes depending on what's going on, but it's very rewarding as well. Last but not least, some other programs in the arts and sciences that are very popular and I figured they didn't require as much information from me, but also within communication is new media and communication technology. People who want to work in social media or a lot of website design goes into that as well. Computer and information science, data analytics, statistics, these things obviously work a lot with money. A lot of the underpinnings of marketing and sales are related to statistics and the data that they're analyzing. History, a significant number of CEOs of top companies are history majors. I think the correlation there is that they're very good at analyzing the past and being able to project that into the future, so they can kind of see how the company has done in the past and see how it's going to be further on. So math, poli-sci, psychology, those are all really good programs as well. So I think I may have talked for over my time. So I'm going to turn things over to Paul Heimberger in CFAES.
You're right on time, Michael.
Okay, good.
So, no worries. Here's me taking a picture up in my attic space about a year ago, right when we started on to our back a year ago, leading a study abroad program to Costa Rica. My background's actually in ecology, so that's one of the ways that I still get to kind of manage that disciplinary background that I have. And we had like 12 students studying sustainability and doing service projects down in Costa Rica. And boy, I came back to a completely new world, as we all did. But that's me doing my best Mr. Rogers impression. Welcome to the neighborhood. And I am the CFAES academic counselor. So I'm not as involved directly in recruitment, but I do a lot of one-on-one advising from an academic perspective with Columbus State Community College. We love our Columbus State Community College students because the College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences, we're a very small college at Ohio State University. Michael talked about arts and sciences being the heart of the university. Our dean of the college, Kathy Ann Kress, she talks a lot of times about us being the cornerstone college of Ohio State because we were the first college program when Ohio State was established in 1870. Obviously, at that time, we were the College of Agriculture, but we've since moved on beyond just those kind of stereotypes. And so that's a lot of what we do. And one of the reasons why we've remained so small is because we have that history that sometimes can pigeonhole us. But I wanted to share with you today some ways of thinking outside of the box and realize that there are a lot of ways to find your place at Ohio State and find it in a very small setting. So of the colleges and programs represented on the panel today, we're definitely one of the smallest colleges at Ohio State, but our number of majors and specializations are very, very diverse. So yes, we cater to our agricultural heritage, but it's expanded a lot more beyond that. Most of our degrees are Bachelor's of Science in Agriculture degrees, so that's still the name of the title. But we also have some specialized, what are called tag degrees. There's a BS in Construction Systems Management program. We also have a BS in Food Science, as well as an option for students that are interested in animal nutrition can pursue a Bachelor's of Science in Nutrition. Human nutrition and dietetics is more under Kia's purvey over there in the College of Education and Human Ecology. But I'm not going to belabor all of the curriculum for all of these different majors, but certainly if you want to take some time later and check out our college's website, like all the colleges, we have all of our academic information online, all of our career data, scholarships, and financial aid. If you're curious about study abroad opportunities, we have quite a few different study abroad programs related around the world related to agriculture and environmental and natural resources related content. I didn't put the degree programs up on here that are the Bachelor's of Science in Environment and Natural Resources, but the School of Environment and Natural Resources, they're administratively part of our college, but they're a separate degree unit. But I'm happy to answer any questions and make some connections if any of the environment and natural resources related content relates to you. I'm just going to hit on a few of the business related majors first, and then I want to focus on one of our primary business focused majors after that. So these are just some of our business related majors in the College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences. You'll find we use a lot of acronyms in our college. It's a big mouthful. And so one of our more recent majors, which has proven very popular with students, is called EADS. And it is an interdisciplinary major that is in combination with our Environment and Natural Resources, our Department of Agricultural and Environmental Development Economics, and the Fisher College of Business. And it focuses on environment, economy, development, and sustainability. So there's definitely some business connections there, especially if you're interested in the environmental aspects of sustainability in businesses and other aspects of those industries. Our food business management is almost like a specialized business degree. Food and agriculture is still the #1 industry in the state of Ohio. And when you look at our GDP as a nation, if you look at agriculture commodities, but also the value added aspects. Agriculture and environment still drive the main sector of our economies. And that's reflected in, the number of jobs that we have. And when I look at food business management, that's actually, of all of our majors, that has the highest starting salaries, around 70,000 for our graduates of the food business management program. Construction systems management, we have 100% job placement in construction systems management. So if you're interested in the business of project management in either residential construction or commercial construction projects, or state and government agencies that deal with infrastructure development like roads and bridges, et cetera, that's a huge industry. I've been advising students for over 20 years in the College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences. And this program, we went from, in the early 2000s when it was created, we went from like 50 students all the way up to, we were close to 300 students at one time in that major. So still a relative to the rest of Ohio State, small, but one of our larger majors. Michael mentioned communications. If you're interested in our college, there's agricultural communications, which again has those sorts of focuses on marketing and policy, human resources management aspects, particularly related to print media and broadcast media in promoting agricultural industries. Community leadership is in the same department as that. Also connections to human and resources management, sorts of related. If you're interested in developing leadership aspects within an organization, that's a big one. And then sustainable plant systems, we have specializations in there. So the golf course industry and management under our turf grass science specialization, or what we would call the green industry, anything related to horticulture, whether that's nursery crops or landscaping industry, those are under horticulture. But I want to spend the rest of my time talking mainly about our agribusiness and applied economics major. Again, focusing on the small nature of our program, we have about 80 graduates a year in agribusiness and applied economics, and about 94% job placement. And when you look at the curriculum, and you're welcome to do that again, if you go into the departmental website link that I have there, we have a couple of small videos that you can watch about the program. And obviously you can delve more into the curriculum itself. But when you look at the courses that are part of the major, they focus on management and marketing and finance and supply. We throw in a lot of electives in the major related to things like international economics, population economics, food and resource economics. We might get into specific courses on management and small businesses, or grain merchandising versus economics of the livestock and meat industry. Our environmental economics aspects of the degree are ways as well. All of our degree programs in the college, including agribusiness and applied economics, do require an internship. And we have career services folks that work both in our college office as well as in our department to help you identify opportunities and make those connections and get some real good real world experiences. And that's one of the reasons why it's reflected in our placement statistics. Across all of the different majors in the College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences, we're well above 90%. I mentioned I've been advising for over 20 years. Trends happen, of course, but I have never seen our percentage placement in any of our majors below 90% in that 20 plus year history. Another aspect that is somewhat unique at Ohio State is our advising network. So we would connect you with a college office advisor. That would be like myself, particularly if you're a transfer student. I do transfer credit coordination, but we would also connect you with a departmental advisor in agribusiness and applied economics. Her name is Cassie Kurzals, and we'll connect you with her as part of that orientation process. And eventually we'll also connect you with a faculty advisor, particularly for more of the mentoring aspects of the degree program and kind of the disciplinary focus. And again, helping you think about professional development opportunities. we are non-competitive admissions to all of the majors that are in our college for the most part. Our professional golf management major, you have to have a certified handicap for that program. And the culinary science program, you have to have an associate's degree in the culinary arts. But most of the other business related majors that I've highlighted today, they do not have any admission standards. So basically the general education coursework that you've had through Columbus State, as long as you have 30 or more hours and you're a 2.0 or higher, we will be admitting you directly into any of the CFAES majors. And I welcome you to reach out to me. I'm always happy to do Zoom meetings as we are right now. And when we get back this fall, I know one of the questions in the chat was, how much are we going to go back to in-person activities, including appointments and visits? I think that's going to hopefully happen this autumn. I know that our recruitment folks are planning on doing Experience OSU for a Day visits through the CFAES offices. And I certainly hope to be able to make my semesterly pilgrimages over to Aquinas Hall. But I'm always available in my office as well for students. And last but not least, then, I'm going to turn it over to Trish Jefferson, distinguished colleague over there in the Fisher College of Business.
Great. Thank you, Paul. Thanks, everyone. As Mary introduced us in the beginning, my name is Trish Jefferson, and I am the Director for Undergraduate Admissions and Recruitment, specifically for the College of Business. And I am specifically the contact for all of our prospective transfer students, and also help coordinate the evaluation process and all that good stuff in between. So if you forget anything else, just jot down jefferson.69@osu.edu. I'm going to be real brief because we have a lot of opportunities to connect with you individually. So I thought I would just start first with a great overview of the academics that we offer. I think what you're finding when you hear arts and sciences or FAES, you see these are large umbrellas over a lot of academic opportunity, and the College of Business is no different. As you can see here, we offer 12 specializations, and think of specializations as majors because they function like that, even though we technically call them specializations. But you can see we have everything from accounting to real estate, logistics to operations, and everything in between. Our three largest majors in the college currently are finance, accounting, and marketing. The students in the College of Business are typically career focused. They're looking at Fortune 500, 100, 1,000 companies. They're looking at nonprofits, and they're also looking at startups. So those are kind of the three main areas that our students are kind of thinking about as they come in and are considering some of these majors. We also offer 6 minors. And so as you're hearing the other colleges here today, I couldn't help but think how when I think of students who are doing hospitality or fashion or econ through arts and sciences, you know, our business minors, which I think, Mary, if you click one more time, we can get the minors up there. There we go. You can see that minors are very popular. Minors at Ohio State are very popular. So it is a great way to, if you're doing you know, an actuarial major, if you're doing a fashion major, you can still bring in a little more business concentration if you want to. So a lot of academic opportunity within the College of Business, a lot of industry that's represented here. And so, you know, when we meet with you individually, it's something that we kind of talk a little more in depth about. So I'm just going to get right to admission, because that is the second biggest question that I get. The Fisher College of Business is a competitive admission college. So how do you get here? First, foremost, you have to apply to Ohio State. If you haven't visited apply.osu.edu yet, please do click on transfer, and you're going to see just a whole checklist of things that you should be doing to start this process. So if you apply to Ohio State, there's no separate application for Fisher, but you do need to indicate one of our business majors or business undecided as your major. When we review you in Fisher, and that is a group that I head up, these are the things we're going to look for. We direct admit our transfer students straight into major, but we are looking for a minimum GPA of a 3.1, 26 hours earned post high school. And we're looking for grades of C or better in the equivalent courses to English and that math 1131 or 51. And that's what we're doing in the admission process. So of course you have to be admitted to the university, but this is what we're looking at on the Fisher side. And so, this is happening as soon as you apply. So again, that apply.osu.edu is certainly your friend. Things that I will recommend to students prior to application: see your advisor at Columbus State, please. We encourage that. We want you to make that connection. They will offer you and share with you just the best pathway to Ohio State, no matter what major you're looking at. I encourage students to use the Transferology, use the tag site, and to connect with us. We want to talk to you as a prospective student as we get you through that admission stage. And then what my group does is we will hand you off to our academic advising team. And we do have advisors who specifically work with our transfer students. Once you're admitted, review your transfer credit report. Again, connect with questions. What we never want is a transfer student to come to orientation and be surprised by anything that they're hearing. So you can see with all these professionals on the call today, our goal is that you come in seamlessly, that you're connected to the program that you're interested in, and you have all those questions answered during the application process. I do always encourage students, know what does and doesn't transfer. We have a very specific transfer policy. So we're looking specifically at tag approved courses at Columbus State. So there are some business related courses that you see at Columbus State that we may not take as a college of business. So even more reason to connect with my team as you're moving through that application process. So we absolutely want to be sure that you know how your credits are coming over, but more importantly, how they're being applied toward degree completion. So those are kind of the three things that I talk about most with prospective transfer students. What majors you got, how do I get there, and what do I need to watch out for? So I know there's some questions popping up, so I want to see if Taylor will get some of these questions going, and just know we can connect individually as well.
Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate all of the thoughts, and I'm sorry for the PowerPoint kind of going a little wonky there at the end, trying to do cues through what everybody's talking about, but I'll let Taylor bring up the questions and we'll go from there. We have quite a bit of time left, so please, please, please ask the questions in the chat. We'd love to hear from you, and that's what we're here for. Thanks. Okay, so there's one of our questions. Did everybody see that about it? Somebody asked, for non-traditional students, are night and weekend classes offered in the program? So then we have a bunch of other questions too that are coming up. So what about that one? I think that's a really great question that for all of you guys. So go ahead.
I mean, Ohio State does not offer any weekend courses that I know of. Or if there are, it's more like field trip oriented courses and grad classes. I remember I had one on Saturdays, but for the most part, we don't offer weekend courses.
And there are night courses available. It's really going to depend on what program you're referring to. You know, not just simply every college, but every department offers classes depending on what the student need is. So you're going to find some night class. You're going to find a lot of night classes in arts and sciences, and I'm sure you'll find night classes in some of these others as well, but it really depends on what department and what specific class you're looking for.
Yep, I agree. And I actually just scrolled up a little bit. I didn't see all those other questions. So I wanted to touch base on campus visits, unless somebody else wanted to take a stab at it. So here's the thing, everybody, we miss you, we miss campus, we miss life, we miss peopling, we miss all of it. So Ohio State is right now taking the steps necessary to try to prepare for, a more in-person autumn semester. There are a lot of factors that play into that as far as senior leadership making these decisions. And so, while orientation in the summer is pretty much a virtual space, all of our fingers are crossed that we'll be able to do a launch by fall. So it's still kind of early to make that call. I think we all hope that we can, be on fall and have some sense of normalcy back and see everybody on campus. But, you have to stay tuned. We'll have to see what, the COVID numbers look like, what the governor says. There are a lot of other bodies that kind of play a role in that decision. So our fingers are crossed, so keep your fingers crossed too, okay?
Okay, well, I'll let Trish weigh in too, but for the person who asked about the 3.1 GPA, this program is for you. So Trish can talk about it, but pretty much that 3.1 GPA is firm in final. So if you don't have a 3.1 GPA or higher, you're not going to get into the Fisher College of Business. I'll have Trish talk about the process for our students if they're admitted as undecided or exploration, and she'll go from there.
Sure. So a lot of different things to consider if you are looking at Ohio State, you're interested in business, you start with Fisher, but you don't meet the criteria. I think what you're hearing today, though, is there are a ton of options. So if you are thinking, if you're thinking that you are interested in finance, well, I'm going to point you over to EHE and to Arts and Sciences and to FAES. So I think what you're hearing today, right, is if you tell me what you're interested in, I'm likely going to be able to share with you 3 or 4 different pathways through Ohio State that may route you to the same industry, profession. That's the beauty of Ohio State, and that's why people come here, right? We are a choose your own adventure, many opportunities kind of place. So don't let that deter you from Ohio State. That just means that, okay, there's a different process here for this one college. I will say, though, that we do have students who, if they're not admitted to Fisher, they have an option to come into our exploration program. And if after completing 1 full-time term, they have a 3-1 at Ohio State, then they can apply to the College of Business later after enrollment. So that's a pathway as well. But I think what you're probably hearing today is that there's a lot more curricular pathways than you may have thought. So reach out to any one of us and we can talk you through that. First and foremost, all of us we're in or are in some kind of advising capacity. All of us are Buckeyes through and through. We want you to come and find the best fit for you. And that includes time to graduation. How much is this going to cost me? Am I going to get a job or grad school pathway? And we are all very versed on the opportunities in and outside of our college. So don't look at Fisher and self-select away. We can talk you through some other options for sure.
All right.
And also,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Also realize that the minors that Trish mentioned that are in the Fisher College of Business, those are non-competitive. So you do not have to meet the Fisher admissions requirements to be able to pursue any of those 6 minors that were listed. The other thing is, if any of you are considering graduate school or MBAs, a Master's in Business Administration, you do not have to be an undergraduate major in the Fisher College of Business to apply and be admitted to an MBA program or a master's or PhD program.
See, we can finish each other's sentences, you guys. Ask away.
let's put this person about accounting and the CPA out of their misery, since they've asked a couple times. What do you need to get your CPA, Trish? Sure.
So to sit for the CPA in the state of Ohio, you need both some specific curriculum, but you also need 150 earned semester hours. So if your goal is on the CPA, certainly that is kind of one of those more narrow tracks where accounting would certainly be something to first and foremost consider, because in addition to those hours, keep in mind that you need about 121, 22 hours to earn your degree, but the state of Ohio wants you to complete 150 semester hours. Okay, so in addition, you need to have financial managerial accounting, you need to have intermediate accounting, you need to have tax and audit. So you do need a very specific accounting curriculum completed as well. So what our students do is they'll major in accounting, and we get a lot of students who then, for those additional hours, will complete a minor. And our most popular minors are econ, foreign languages, and a lot of arts and sciences, to be very honest. Our students want to step away from business and kind of take advantage of all the academic opportunity at Ohio State. And they want to kind of broaden their horizons. We use that term well-rounded student a lot. It may sound cliche, but it is very well placed. So we encourage students, you can get that accounting curriculum, you can get those additional hours and really round out your curriculum plan as well. So yeah, I hope that answered the question, but certainly email me for more specifics about that. We get that question a lot.
This couple other questions, and I think it relates to also getting into business, the College of Business. One, about the May 1st deadline. So yeah, that's a common thing. Ohio State's deadline to apply is prior to our spring semester being completed. So the last possible set of grades that's going to be seen by Ohio State is going to be your autumn semester grades. So keep that in mind as you're applying. But that also impacts the amount of credits if you're applying to the Fisher College of Business prior to graduation with the Associate of Arts in Business. That is going to impact the number of hours you're transferring to Ohio State. So one thing you want to keep in mind is that, and Trish can talk about this in a second, is that you may want to stay for that Associate of Arts in Business, because what that Associate of Arts in Business is, it has all of those tag courses that Trish was talking about. So all accounting 1 and 2, micro and macroeconomics, legal environment of business, business communication, management and organizational behavior, all of those classes that we offer here at Columbus State as a part of the AA business, including calculus and calculus-based business statistics, apply directly to the Fisher requirements, which includes information systems. I'm trying to answer like 17 different questions here, but Trish, I want you to talk about what happens to students if they apply to Ohio State, get in, but then earn that 26th hour once their spring semester is done. What happens with business?
Yeah, so we get that question a lot. And so it is not uncommon that during the spring term, students are meeting the 26 hours. They might be completing calculus as well. Those are the two biggest things. So while you may initially get admitted to Ohio State, not to business, then your spring transcript comes in and now you meet the eligibility for business. I will have students reach out to me and then I will reevaluate application and move them to business. And we do that throughout the summer. So if you see our criteria and there's something that you will be completing in spring or even summer, we will work with you once those final transcripts are in and reevaluate you for the College of Business prior to autumn start. We move over quite a few students from spring till, usually about August 15th. We move over a lot of students who are now qualified for the College of Business. So don't hesitate to reach out and make that connection with me, and we will help you kind of through that process.
Okay, let's see. I don't know if I'd like for everybody to kind of parse it out, but the biggest difference between marketing and digital marketing, and I think they're talking about your programs in arts and sciences. Michael, you want to talk about that?
I'm not really sure what that's referring to per se, because we don't we have like graphic design or what we call visual communication design within the arts, but it's not marketing. I will say there are some marketing elements to it, but it's a design program. It is not a marketing program. And a lot of people do make use of some marketing skills in conjunction with that. A general business minor would be a great way to do that. so that you could kind of do a little bit of everything in that sense. But it's definitely more focused on the arts than on the strategy and tactics of marketing that you might get in the College of Business. So I would definitely write, if you want marketing, the College of Business is definitely going to have the best focus. There are other areas where you could do some marketing stuff, like strategic communication, for example. There are some marketing elements, but if marketing is what you want, then that's the place to get it.
Yeah. Anything to add, Trish, to that?
Yeah, I will just say and I will say too, when we talk about marketing, where kind of the three pathways most of our marketing students are going after graduation, if not grad school, they're looking heavily into brand management. They're looking into retail. We're the third largest retailing hub behind New York and LA. So you can see why we have two colleges that are focusing on that particular area. And we also are a healthcare industry hub here as well. So we do see some of our marketing students going into medical sales and pharmaceutical sales as well. So those are probably the three, pathways that we see our marketing students going. Because we get questions about advertising quite a bit, and that's not our lead for sure.
Yeah, thank you. I think it comes down to the person asking, a creativity aspect. So if you, like, when I used to advise students in arts and sciences, I would always say, are you thinking you want to write the copy? Do you want to think about how the commercial is filmed and that sort of thing? Usually that's somebody in the communications field that might take over that piece of the portion. Certainly, marketers do that as well, but the actual marketing and business, you're going to get a lot of market research. You're going to get all of that upper, budgeting and that sort of thing that, people at executive level in marketing sometimes want and need instead. So,
and also realize that, that experience isn't all going to come in the classroom either. Absolutely. So your education, your major does play a role, but internships in particular, those professional experiences, whether they're paid or non-paid or shadowing experiences, it all adds up to that proverbial well-rounded student. But there's a lot of aspects of, like, the advertising industry, for example, that you will learn that sort of thing by doing more so than by a course or a major that you choose wherever you're earning your degree.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've done really well. I don't want to leave some people hanging. The high school student who's asking about application to OSU, I apologize. Somebody may know on here, my folks in recruiting, but
we have a decision release Friday.
There we go.
We can publicly say that now. It used to be kind of behind the scenes, but we can tell you Friday, typically starting in the afternoon, releases start. Go to your portal, right, Kia? You go to your admission portal, and decisions will just magically appear.
Yeah.
And that's the last one, isn't it?
The last big one for sure. Yeah. So I would anticipate any high school students who may be here with us, if you have not heard, typically you'll hear a decision on Friday.
Okay. Yeah. And for all of our transfer students on here, for the most part, admission is rolling for those folks, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. So the deadline, if you haven't heard already, is May 1st for next autumn. And in our final few minutes, I just want to give a few more plugs to transfer here at Columbus State. If you are not a member, if you don't get email messages from me under the auspices of Ohio State through your Blackboard, that's how we release information on late. When they extend the deadlines, they often will just email me, and that's the best way I can get that information out to you all, other than you guys constantly checking the OSU website. So definitely, email me if you want to, if you don't think you're on that, or you may have subtracted yourself from that list. And just to go forward a little bit, for those of you who are wondering, we have pathways for pretty much all of these majors on our website. So on the Columbus State website, you can go on to that page. You scroll down to the bottom where it says pathways, and we have step-by-step every course you take here at Columbus State and how you transition to Ohio State. So we have it for business. It includes just the business with all the specializations. We have it for fashion and retail. We have it for EADS. We have it for agribusiness. We have it for strategic communication. I believe we have one for actuarial science too. So, and economics as well. So if you ever have questions about what to take here while you're here at Columbus State, we have those resources available to you, and we will continue to do that as much as we can. And if you ever have any questions about transfer here at Columbus State, you can certainly email the Transfer Center at transferinfo@cscc.edu. We will be closed through the spring and likely through the summer. So until the state lifts the health orders for social distancing, we can't have visitors in the transfer center or on campus because we can't ensure safe distancing. But if those health orders get released, so everybody get their vaccine and keep it safe while you're on spring break. I think you guys already had your spring break. I know we did.
Our spring break was canceled.
Oh, so anyway, stop that. Don't go out and hang out with your friends. Everybody stay safe. Hopefully those health orders will get listed over the summer and we'll have a normal autumn semester. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. A virtual hand for all of our participants from Ohio State. They're all great people, and I hope you take advantage of getting in touch with them. Thank you, and have a good rest of your week. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you.